Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 27, season 2 of Red Wings Rant, hosted by yours truly, Brothers of Discussion, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. Of course, Red Wings Rant is where tirades and impassioned pleas about your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Mike, we've got an overtime loss to Tampa Bay to talk about, but more importantly, we've got NHL hockey back on ESPN. That's right.
Hit the music. What's that?
I had some grand plans about us actually trying to recreate that, and I know we're always on like a delay somehow, and I was concerned how terrible it would sound on our 3 or 4 second delay that we usually come equipped with.
We're doing okay now, though. We got some sizzle. We got some back and forth. We got a little. Man, I'd say we're in business now.
Oh,
and speaking of business,
boy.
We got a little business to take care of, man. It's not quite time for the macho madness. Yeah, that is college basketball in March, but that doesn't mean the fun has to end. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players, old players, your old hat, you're out. You get the chance to get $100. That's right, new customers bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer, including your beloved Detroit 10-win Pistons, bottom of the league. That doesn't matter. They still hit threes. Man, all you got to do is bet $1 if they hit a three-pointer in any game. It does have to be league-sanctioned. Oh, can't be a pickup game. All right, so here's what's going on. All it takes is one three-pointer hit by your chosen team to turn $1 into $100. Sounds like a no-brainer to me. Man, this slam dunk of an offer, and not just slam dunk, tomahawk junk. Bang! Won't be around forever, so head to the App Store now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and get in on all that action. Man!
If basketball isn't for you, because we are a hockey podcast.
And why would it be if you're here?
DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook has daily odds on hockey, soccer, and so much more. DraftKings has paid out over $7 billion to its customers since 2012, so they know a thing or two about big paydays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN to get your shot at $1 to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. That's promo code THPN for new customers to get a shot at 100 to 1 odds on any basketball team to hit a three-point shot only on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Here's the part where Matt doesn't breathe.
New Jersey, Indiana, Michigan, and Virginia. Only new customers, only restrictions apply. Winning paid out for $25 free bets. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT, or in Virginia, call 888-532-500. Mike, I think a good rule of thumb is the part that is in red and bold. You should not interrupt. That's our new rule of thumb.
I know, but I just did a whole I did a wind up bionic elbow that whole time, man. I'm exhausted.
Oh, I thought you were doing a punching bag. You're going at somebody.
Oh, looks like a speed bag. I was actually got a bionic elbow ready to go against that old bastard Ric Flair. Damn him. All right. Hard times, Daddy. Man, Red Wings having some hard times. Yeah.
Well, man. Mike, you were having hard times too. We're a little late today, Mike. You had some friends come and visit the house. You're out of breath.
There's frankincense, myrrh, and then silverfish, I guess, was one of the other gifts you get as a homeowner. And boy, oh boy, are they fun pests. They're really fast and they hide in the dark. So it's really hard to tell how bad your infestation is. So hopefully it's just the one that I found and not more than that. We have traps galore. We're shooting poisonous gas all over the place. What a time to be alive.
What's a silverfish trap look like? Is it like a mouse
A
trap?
silverfish.
Did you put a worm?
A silverfish does not make an impact by biting humans or anything like that. No, what they do is there's just a lot of them because they're good at reproducing, and you can catch them with a piece of Scotch tape. So what we did is we put a potato in a bowl and surrounded the bowl with tape. And when they go to get a tasty bit of potato, they're going to get stuck to the tape and dehydrate and die. So silverfish are pretty annoying, but they're just a little potato bait away. And luckily, there's no Mad Max out there to warn the other silverfish about bait. So hopefully they go for the potato, and we'll be all set.
Yeah, I actually had to do a little Google search to see what you were dealing with because the whole time you're telling the story, I just picture a fish flopping into your house like Magikarp going into your bedroom.
Flounder, the fish are flying all over the place. Oh, no.
Exactly.
Who keeps leaving the windows open?
Well, Mike, the goals.
I don't know. Is that I tried to do a Swedish chef.
Like the goals were flying. Goals were flying all over the place for the Wingies. You nailed it. Your prediction was you didn't nail it. You were pretty close. Your prediction was a 5-3 loss. Our blogger Jesse and myself, we both predicted 1 goal. So this was something where when I came up with my 3 keys to the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, I said you basically with how well Tampa does with suppressing their opponent's offense and creating offense. You see like the highest shot percentage in the league, highest save percentage in the league. It seems unbeatable. And I said, the only way we're going to get this is if we get Vasilevsky's worst game of the season. And it's up there, Mike, and we got it. And you know what? We fudged it up. We didn't finish it off. And there's a couple of things we want to go over here, but we have some visual aids and stuff, but top level. This one, there's been a few games that hurt this year, and you started this game off like kind of saying to yourself, "There's no chance. We're losing this for sure." And to see how well they played, you get an Adam Ernie power play goal, so things aren't necessarily just going well. They're out of control. This is just this is an anomaly of all anomalies. So you've got Ernie throwing in power play goals. You've got Larkin, which I'm saying this is beast mode Larkin. This is when he goes top speed, goes right at the net, boom, goal. And we've seen Larkin do it a ton since he started his career with us. So you got your beast mode Larkin, Mike. Zadina's popping in more points. I thought it was a longer point streak, but it's actually only 2 games. It's just 5 points in 6 games. So he gets that 5th point in 6 games. It felt really good, and it was such a surprise to see us play so well, and to know we also didn't have in Svechnikov, and Tyler's still nowhere to be found. No timetable on that return. It felt like, oh my God, we're going to pull this out, and that's why it hurt. And hi, Steve, real quick. How you doing? Send us any questions in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that because that was one of the questions that Blashill faced, looking at the proposed lineups and then kind of in the aftermath. No Evgeny. What the F, bro? And basically his argument was, well, we have Larks.
Yeah, it's such a weird...
He basically kind of pushed it off.
Play center.
He said, we're going to get Rasmussen in there. And Evgeny, all the spots that I would play him at, I have other people that I'm going to put in there. And, we kind of talked about Svechnikov being a little bit of an adventurer defensively, right? But felt like his offense was doing pretty well. So I think we were a little surprised. I think that's why the question came up, but ultimately, if you're looking at just, the box score from that Lightning game, don't really know who you would have sat. I mean, Gagne had a pretty good game. Ernie, like you mentioned, is the only person you would have probably pulled out was Rasmussen. But at some point, we want to start seeing this guy get some NHL games under his belt. So that is really the only other person I would have benched. But you got to give him a shot.
Our buddy, the professor on Twitter, he threw out there and made mention, and then I took a look at the deep cut analytics, as you put it. Yeah. Rasmussen is throwing the body around. We know he's a beast. He's what, 6'5", 6'6". So that was one of the things where we're trying to figure out, well, how is he going to fit in the lineup? He's actually leading the team right now in hits per 60. So that's where you take everybody's hits, divide it by their time on ice, and then multiply it by 60. So everybody's on an even keel, no matter what minutes you're playing. And leads the team and hits per 60. So he's a big boy throwing his body around. Yes. Go ahead.
He also leads the team in height.
Exactly. So when he throws that body around, it's really going to hurt. So I'm going to make the argument that Adam Ernie, even though he scores, he's very replaceable. If his 5-on-5 numbers, Mike, his Corsi, his expected goals, worst in the game. So obviously that doesn't take into account the power play goal, but you most certainly, and I'm fine. If we're replacing Ernie for Svetch. If we're doing 1-for-1, I'm pretty sure Svetch is gonna not only be able to put in that goal, but he's probably gonna get a prettier looking chance, and it's great. Or I'm sorry, he set himself up front, but it's fine. Like get rid of Ernie. I don't care that he scored. Put Svetch in there. I think you and I both know. I mean,
I don't care if he gets
something too where it's.
I don't care if he gets a goddamn hat trick. Get his ass out of there.
Right. Well, on our what did I give him?
You have a point. Yeah.
We have our midseason grades. So I've got to scroll up to E here, and let's see, Adam Ernie. Man, this takes forever to scroll up. All right, Mike, I gave him a D+.
Oh,
I do have to update his stats after he scored, but yeah, I mean. I'm just going to say, I don't think too many people are going to argue with the D+. I did take into consideration salary and expectations of what the player's doing. But even with Ernie's expectations, when you take a look at the hard cut analytics or the deep cut, he's still failing. So we asked him to do something. And I kind of came up with the same summary for Ernie, Filppula, and Nielsen. I said, well, we know they're not offensively the dynamic forward that, is easy to pick out. And I just forgive me, everybody. But, you think about Austin Matthews. What does he do well? Well, right, this season, everything. But he's a goal scorer, right? So I'm trying to define, all right, what is Filppula, what did Nielsen, what did Ernie do well?
Yeah.
And all three of those guys, I pretty much could have just copy and pasted based on what they've done so far this year, what the analytics look like. It's ultimately a fail. It tells me that they're not sticking around. So I don't know why. You already said that you're fine with me taking Ernie out for Svetch. So I don't know why I'm going so hard into this, but I'm gonna go hard into Ernie, real hard, and hopefully hard enough that it pushes him out of the lineup and puts Svetch in there. Sorry, I had to lean into that. I leaned into that and into
that was
Adam Ernie. All right,
that was a one-man argument against himself that he won. That's pretty good.
If you were going to keep Adam Ernie, here's why you do it.
Glad you asked. I mean, Ernie would have been a contender there for sure. But I know that when we're, quote, icing teams, we're not always just putting in our favorite youthful tall people, it seems. Matt, Ernie, neither height nor youth on his side. But he is part of the ICE team plan. So there we go.
There's another point to throw out there, too, is for Svetch to fit himself into this lineup. And it went into our keys to the game. I said if you were going to beat the Lightning, you got to put all your best guys out there in regards to expected goals. Because you had to get as many goals as possible because you knew the Lightning. I mean, 4 goals for the Lightning. It's almost a down. That's like an off night for their offense. But Another point for Svetch is that he's had great numbers in the third period. And Mike, this transitions us into what an awful, horrible, no good, very bad third period that we had. I just looking at these numbers. I mean, you could watch this game and the eyeball test says, "Oh my God, did we touch the puck?" But the analytics to support that, Mike, 22% Corsi, 21% expected goals, 0% high danger scoring chances in the third period. And the Lightning did do pretty good. I mean, pull it up off the top of my head. I believe they had 6 high danger scoring chances according to Natural Stat Trick. I mean, that's not, the greatest high danger period of all time, but especially when it's 6-0, yeah, that's pretty goddamn good. And Mike, I think one of the things here I can queue up so we can take a look at it. But this was it. What I'm about to throw up on the big screen here. Let's see if I can cue this up properly. Let me mute it here. I'm just going to keep talking so it seems like I know what I'm doing. But we're talking about this line change at the end of the game. Mike, I constantly make the argument that no coach could do enough to get fired. But like in this COVID season. But the point that I'm making here is this wasn't enough to get him fired. But no. I mean, this is all on coaching. This is coaching decisions. That's what failed here. So let's we're watching the goal right now. But once this replay resets here, actually, let's do this here. All right, Tampa's carrying the puck up. Look at this. Where I have it paused right now, Mike, you've got out of 3 Red Wings, you have 3 of them behind the red line. And you've got, I believe it's Hronek is the one who's left standing, who's, this is, obviously overtime. So it's 3-on-3. So where I have it paused right now is it's all Tampa Bay going forward. So boom, here we go. Hronek can't do anything. And Greiss, who had a terrible game, just continues to look bad. So again, that is coaching 1,000%. I'm still going to say there's nothing any coach can do this year to get fired right now. Like, it just does not matter. We're not going to fix this team. So yeah, bad third period and overtime. So this was a game where the Red Wings were actually dominating in all the analytics first and second period. And when I say dominating, I don't mean that we were competing. We dominated that first and second period. And that's, to put the cherry on top, the Larkin goal. Just so nice. You also, shout out to Zadina, who I mentioned has 5 points in 6 games. The screen that he had for Nemeth's goal, also A+ all the way for Zadina. It actually made me go back and rescore his midseason grade to B these last couple of games. So I was giving him a C+.
I want to hear just the letter grade without any analysis. Matt, what did you give Grace?
Ooh, we're not there yet, but it's not going to be good.
Because, man, one of my favorite things is as much as I like watching sports, I, for some reason, really enjoy trade deadlines and off seasons because I love trades. I love gossip. And I love, potential over reality. And so this is right around that time when everybody's putting out their trade market articles. A lot of our favorite publications had trade tiers and who you can expect the Red Wings to move. And, of course, I had to try and absorb as much Red Wing gossip as I could. And, Matt, it's pretty terrifying to think that on the trade block is our beloved Jonathan Bernier, if only because it means we're going to be left with the alternative, Matt. Greiss is, I don't know. I'll use the word underwhelmed to put it nicely. It never feels like he's, making that save to keep us in a game. Matt, I shudder to think what will happen after the trade deadline if Bernier's gone for probably a third rounder. Matt, is a third rounder going to be worth watching 30 games of just god awful goaltending?
I think with him playing so well, I think that's where the conversation with Steve Yzerman means you've got to put a hard and fast, like, I need a second round pick for this because my team's going to absolutely suck. There isn't a guy in the system right now that is going to be able to come up and even be a formidable backup. Like we don't even have that, let alone have Grice come up and be the full-time starter and have somebody be like probably take 50% of the games after that. I just it's scary, and I guess what I said is you just got to hope that Steve's going to have that. I will not accept anything less than this because otherwise it's not worth it for my team to go through the rest of the season and hope that Grice just gets it together. Because he's right now having arguably as bad a season as Jimmy Howard did last year, and you're talking about the expected goals he's supposed to give up and the goals he actually has given up. So that differential is actually last in the league at this point. And the number just goes up every game. He has not fought back to gain anything on that number in the last month, I guess, or maybe even in victory. I think he's failed to catch up on that number. Where Bernier is at, or at least he was at the top of the league. That was when we were anointing him and saying, thank God he's back. He's had a bit of a stumble. He's tripped up a little bit. I think he's going to get a shot on Thursday, but it hurts.
It's a real bummer.
It's not going to be fun.
He was one of those goalies. One of my favorite NHL archetypes. We'll call him the Scotch. That it gets better with age because he really started hitting his peak when he turned 30. Matt, that's when he had his best season. Like for save percentage, he started playing a little bit more. Half or more than half of the games. So I don't know if the solution necessarily is, well, Grice, he needs some momentum. He needs to play about 5-10 games in a row. And if we do that, Matt, I think it's going to be pretty safe to say we're going to be clinching the most ping pong balls because I don't see a lot of wins if we're giving him 5 to 10 games in a row to goaltend. It's pretty disheartening. We have the same defenseman for both goalies, Matt, and in his defense, the only other argument is the same one we made for Jimmy Howard, that Bernier could just be the MVP of the league.
And that's without mentioning all the Reddit controversy. All right, and I did want to show this too. I was pretty proud of it earlier today. I said good rule of thumb is to not let your peaks finish below sea level. But this, Mike, it is not very often that the Red Wings have this is the possession peak. Okay, so you're seeing this go all the way into the third period. The Red Wings I'm not sure if my mouse is popping up on the screen, but that peak on the almost far right is in favor of the Red Wings. This shows you how terrible of a third period they had. That the entire game they built up this little line to go all the way up to the above plus 12. So you're probably in the plus 13, plus 14 range there. And obviously the longest drop acceleration, if I may, just is this is that visual of how bad it was. So all of that put together, Mike, this was coaching. But the last little tidbit here I'm going to have.
Was it though? Man,
so
I like deep cut.
Listen.
Listen. I love a good deep cut analytic argument. Matt, can we also just chalk it up to maybe the Lightning mailed it in for 2 periods? Can we? Have we thought about that? They're like, it's Red Wings. We'll turn it on in the third period. We got it.
I have the argument of all arguments to blame it on Jeff Blashill. You ready?
Oh, yes. Wait. Okay. I'm buckled in.
Right when Blake Coleman scored, the celebration ensues. Ken Daniels points out that Blake Coleman was coached and developed in juniors by the one and only Jeff Blashill. So Jeff Blashill coached this guy into being a Red Wing killer. Hey, Mike, right there. if you don't want to say that their decision to pull back in the third period and kind of just let Tampa Bay have their way wasn't enough to blame it on Jeff, Mike, he built Blake Coleman into a Red Wing killer, an overtime fiend. And of course, we went down. If there's any argument that guarantees or definitely solidifies that fact, the fact that was Jeff's fault, that's everything. All right, Mike, we have more pressing matters to discuss.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, let's get into that. Matt. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, before we get into that, we have, as Red Wings fans, we know how you're going to feel about this, but we do have a Chicago Blackhawks ad a podcast ad we need you guys to listen to. But we apologize. We know Chicago Blackhawks. Just hang on tight. It'll be over soon.
What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy from the Hockey Podcast Network's newest show, the Windy City Benders Podcast. My co-host Tanner and I bring our unique takes on Blackhawks hockey.
Us on this show have been a pro Carlton guy. He's the right coach for the situation.
Giving it to our rivals.
That's one of the things that kind of sucks. I wish we would have had the Blues in our division this year because our trash.
As well as bringing in some guests from the NHL.
Please welcome to the show goaltender Scott Darling,
The Eagle himself, Ed Belfour.
Brian Bickle.
David Boland.
Letterkenny.
The show started out with basically a beer league hockey team.
And anybody who loves the game. Find us on all your favorite podcast apps, the Hockey Podcast Network website, and on social media at WCB Podcasts.
All right,
And we're back.
Mike, probably one of the worst things about the relationship with the NHL and NBC was how often the Chicago Blackhawks were featured. I think the percentages got into if you looked at game of the week, Sunday games, things like that, it was 25% of games featured the Chicago Blackhawks, which is mind-blowing, absolute mind-blowing. And of course, that's, taking into consideration all those wonderful outdoor games. Mike, it could be all over because the NHL has just signed a 7-year deal, $400 million annually with ESPN. That's right.
Yeah.
The worldwide leader in sports is going to be hooking up ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. All come to play for the NHL. You've got Stanley Cup Finals, the playoffs, obviously, that rolls in there. They're saying 100 exclusive regular season games. This is coming from ESPN's PR Twitter account. And all the ESPN networks, all the streaming networks, everything's available to the NHL. And they just keep pointing out, whether or not it's ESPN, the NHL, or any of the media folks, the way that the streaming contract works out is huge. It's huge for the NHL. It's huge for sports because there's no more NHL TV. There's no more going to the NHL app, selecting, hey dudes, I've never seen human shit advertised on a podcast before. Cool. I mean,
Thanks, Pete.
I haven't met him yet. I'm assuming
They have at least one huge flaw, so they, we'll probably put off that meeting in person. But thank you, Pete.
And that of course is previously mentioned the professor on Twitter there. All right, where was I? The streaming service thing being involved here. You don't go to the app anymore for the NHL. You are going to be clicking on Hulu. You're going to be going into sports that way. Now, I'm sure you'll be able to click on a game in the NHL app, and it's going to take you to Hulu or it's going to take you to ESPN Plus. But Mike, this is huge. This is massive news. This is what, as you and I are going to be talking about tomorrow night with our wrestling podcast, everything for WWE moving to Peacock. This is the same conversation. This is where the NHL said, enough is enough. We can't do this anymore. We do hockey. We don't do streaming. We are not a streaming service. Let's talk with Disney. Disney does streaming. Disney produces content. Disney puts this stuff online. They will put all of our NHL content, which is what we will now do best, online. That is something that Mike, just try and control your eye roll. When I was going through the NBA program, they talked about so often was businesses pulling back on trying to be something new, but they had to just focus on what they did best. You always have to ask that question. That's where, like, you and I went into we decided we're going to talk Red Wings hockey, even though we're really good about talking pro wrestling. And it's a time to, it's a click and ticking bomb right now before we just say, you know what, we were better at talking. No, I'm kidding. But I'm making fun of myself here. But
well, I would absolutely.
That's the world we're in now.
I would absolutely. It's a fascinating move that Gary's going to get credit for in some capacity, but when you talk about the Blackhawks getting a lot of nationally televised games, what that does for the average fan is teach them, oh, if hockey's on, the Blackhawks are always on. That must mean they're important. So for hockey to finally, National Hockey League finally to align themselves with Hulu, Disney, and ESPN, and to get them in front of more eyeballs for people who are subscribing to all those, and we know what kind of audience Disney and Hulu have because of all the their people they're bringing in for Star Wars, Marvel fans, Pixar fans, all that kind of stuff. It goes, oh, hockey's important again because now it's rubbing shoulders with these big companies instead of trying to do whatever the hell they thought was a good idea 7 or 8 years ago. When they tried to do their own thing that totally went down the toilet and everyone hated it, and hockey plummeted to the 5th or 6th major sport, getting below golf and boxing, which I can't believe we would ever have that thought. So this is a pretty big deal. I think to get hockey on that same level, is where a Disney's going to want to promote it. Where an ESPN's going to want to promote it. And now, Hulu's not just going to be talking about, when they mention their live sports, finally, hockey is going to be part of that mention. So this is such a hugely symbolic deal. And then depending on what kind of out-of-market content they provide for us, this is really, for Red Wing fans, if we, by God, find some way to stretch it out where we can watch more minor league or European stuff, and it's easier to come and get a hold of, we could start watching Eiserman's lottery tickets, perhaps at some point. So this is pretty exciting news.
I'm doing the math right now. I can't believe I just did this. Oh my God, I'm such a stupid asshole.
Crunch him again.
I can't believe I just did this. Here's what I just did, Mike. I just divided 2 billion by 10. Because I'm a stupid asshole. All right, so obviously that number comes out to 200 million.
Wait, let me crunch that one.
That was crunch it again in your head because I used the calculator. So let's see if your brain. All right, so I'm a dumb asshole, but
you probably give really good tips when you go out to eat. Man. Sounds good. What?
What's 2 billion divided by 10? All right, just write that down. All right, that's the old contract with shitty old NBC. Shitty old nobody can find NBC, and now we're talking 400 million annually,
which is where wrestling is. But we'll go. We'll keep going. Shitty old.
Right, that's why they couldn't afford it anymore.
WWE's like,
there's another
table for 2, please. We'll sit over there.
That, you know what? With them losing that, you could be right. Like the WWE might have just signed up with the wrong company because now ESPN and Disney, you know how big Hulu is. Hulu's got everything. They've got relationships everywhere. But any hoozles, Mike, they're getting a pay raise here. So what's interesting and what I heard joked about online a couple of times is somebody took a screenshot of the 2016 NBA free agency where everybody like the top 5 contracts that went out were like
when Golden State could afford Kevin Durant. Yeah.
So they were saying, "Ooh, can't wait for next year's free agency," because you'd assume that the salary cap would go way up, right? Do you foresee that happening with the NHL?
Well, I would hope that the NHL learns a lesson from what the NBA did and not just plunk a 25% increase for every team and maybe slowly increase those numbers gradually over the years of this contract. just so you don't have indigestion watching the Blackhawks somehow sign every single free agent in the offseason, man. So that's what I'm hoping for. Please take a lesson from the NBA. Don't let one of the mega teams. Chicago is just because we hate Chicago. That's our worst case scenario. I guess league-wide, it would just be more unfair to see, like, Tampa Bay is already going to be adding Kucherov next season, but for them to also be, just stockpiling all the other good free agents, to just have like a 2002 Detroit Red Wings team, it'd be fun to watch one team, but, the other 30, I think would want to, be competitive. So hopefully they learn a lesson, man. Long-winded answer.
Yep. Please
learn a lesson.
We'll throw out these numbers. These came from Sean Shapiro. He threw this on his Twitter. Four of next 7 Stanley Cup finals are going to be on ABC or ESPN. So here's the thing. That was interesting to me because there's still a spot for the other games to land.
Right.
I don't understand what happens with that, but it's an interesting conversation considering that they got a pay raise to work with ESPN. One conference final, 25 regular season games on ABC or ESPN. I'm guessing that means per season.
Question.
And then ESPN. Yes, go.
Question. Relating to the Stanley Cup. One of the things that like baseball is so good at is they have that contract with Fox where they just take over a week and a half. And it doesn't matter what you were planning on watching on Fox, that takes a back seat, and Fox is playing baseball. The NBA does that too for their finals, where ABC don't care what sitcom you got going on, whatever's bringing in ratings, we're playing basketball. So for them to say that hockey is going to be on ESPN, is it confirmed it's going to be on ESPN? Which means you would have to be, either have like a cable plan or one of these streaming networks. It's not going to be on a, ABC by chance.
It's so what I said was ABC or ESPN for these Stanley Cup Finals games.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just ESPN. Okay.
Which, like, you actually just put a whole new thought in the old noggin there. Mike, this means that they're going to be sandwiching the NHL and the NBA finals together. I think the way that the NHL has been scheduling the playoffs the last few years, where it just kind of seems like a round ends and they start the next one. And I think we all know the NBA likes to take a little bit of a break, a little breather. Fans don't need everything at once. Give them a month before you give them the finals.
Yeah.
That could be a result of this contract signing. The NHL, and I'm sure ESPN, ABC, I'm sure Disney would love to own primetime cable for 2 weeks, right? Like, they're going to say, no, one night's going to be NBA finals. The next night is going to be the NHL final or Stanley Cup finals. Like that sounds pretty good if I was Disney. Another thought, Mike, we have a family trip. We're doing sort of like a family reunion. Now, there's an NBA experience, Mike, which I think you will definitely, as a huge basketball fan, if you go to Disney this winter, fall, which you are, it's something you can't miss. I wonder if this whole NHL relationship is going to expand. Part of that, Mike, is because of that NBA experience. Part of it, Mike, is also because, and I'm so excited to share this because I want to get your thoughts on how much of this just came into play where, was Disney, what came first, I guess, is where I want this conversation to go. But, Mike, the Mighty Ducks Game Changers comes out in just a couple of weeks on Disney+. You can't tell me.
Funny how that stuff works out, huh? What a coinky day.
That this wasn't, what was
orchestrated.
The announcement?
Yeah.
Was the announcement, right? Did that revolve around this? Did they already, Mike, these contract negotiations take forever.
Yeah.
They could take years. And this could be something where they knew everything was coming into play. We're going to make the announcement at this time. Mike, they also just announced the Disney Plus series within the last year. I mean, this could be something where Disney is really investing from a sports perspective. And we've heard the claim before, as you and I both host a WWE or a wrestling podcast where the WWE makes claims about being the Disney of pro wrestling. But I think Disney, Mike, just wants to be the Disney of everything. Like, they're just the Disney of Disney. And they're going to own all entertainment, like, mediums, channels. How do we want to, how do you say that? Like, any way that you're consuming content, you go to Disney first. If it's movies, if it's television, Mike, our favorite television shows the last couple of years are The Mandalorian and WandaVision. And now it's going to be sports. And I can't imagine that there isn't a basketball show besides High School Musical that isn't too far behind.
No, I think the reason that there aren't more hockey fans is it's not as accessible for some people.
Not enough
right?
Mighty Ducks content.
Well,
Right.
I just wanted to get back to your point about the basketball experience at Disney, where you're literally getting coached by the greatest of all time to like come in and kind of help you with, how to do your jump shot, or they'll teach you tricks how to help with your handle when you're dribbling, or how to, set up a pick and roll and learn how to play. And there's trampolines to learn how to dunk. And it's just so immersive, and it's, a real basketball geek's dream. In hockey, if Disney got their clutches into it and could find a way to make it accessible where, you can, take a hit from Darren McCarty kind of thing. You can learn how to speed skate, learn how to, deke, learn how to shoot, learn how to do a slap shot, do a wrist shot, get the experience of being a goaltender. If anybody can do it, those magical creative minds at Disney are going to do it. So that prospect is very exciting. And, it's, if we're having that idea, I'm pretty sure Disney has that idea. And I would love to see that come to fruition someday, for them to give hockey that same user experience that they're doing for basketball. But I will say that involved a lot of input from players. It involved a lot of input from coaches who saw the value in it, and it involved a lot of the commissioner of the league. So it would be something we would have to actually see NHL players, coaches, and the commish give some input on to see value in it. So hopefully that's something down the road. Exciting prospect.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I think week by week we could probably come back to and talk for another hour. But Mike, I just saw that the NXT women's tag titles were announced, and I missed it. And we got to be breaking news on our other Twitter account. So this is as good a time as any to wrap things up over here. Mike, I don't suppose you had a who's that Pokemon before we say a lot.
It's been a cold week for Jeff Blashill. I'm still waiting for some hot, spicy quotes coming out of him. So, Matt, we're going to hit that on Sunday. I'll have a good one for you.
Woo! All right. Cool beans. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We're going to shore up our scheduling because, Mike, I have to say hi to all of our new subscribers. When I put up that we were going to go live and I could attach all this new stuff, we got new subscribers. So, we'll just know that you hit the notification button. It'll tell you when we're going live. So if we come in a little bit late, you won't be affected. Just wait till you get that notification. We're actually live, and then it's not a big deal. I just told our new viewers, like, go shut up.
So you like hot dogs? So let me show you how the sausage is made. So when we come on to a subscribe. Anyway, okay, I don't want to do that.
All right. Everybody check us out at BOD Hockey on Twitter. It's brothers_of_discussion on Instagram. I've been sharing all of our Red Wing highlights that hopefully the Red Wings don't pull an AEW and drop all of our stuff. Go to bodpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com and check out the blogs. Mike, I'm doing game previews. I've been having fun with it. At least 10-minute video going down. So that's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
So check those out on our YouTube channel. It's the Brothers of Discussion. And just subscribe to Red Wings Rant. It's our playlist. Everything Red Wings Rant goes there. We also have interviews and stuff are broken up if you want to find another playlist that's just about some of our high-profile interviews. But Mike, you are wearing the Red Wings Rant sweatshirt, and I am too. You can find that at bodpodcast.com or brothersofdiscussion.com. Right on the homepage, you just click shop. That is available to you. We have a pretty good relationship with the folks that are running that thing. We are one of their larger shops. So if you have any problems, like Mike just said he had an issue getting his stuff, and we're not
They
even
fixed
not
it
even a
in
week
24
away.
hours. In 24
Yes.
hours, issue resolved. Clothing worn, mug, sip from. Man, everything's going great.
All right, so check that out, bodpodcast.com, brothersdiscussion.com. Might have a giveaway in regards to all of our sweet stuff if you guys want to check out our Twitter account just to make sure you don't miss it. But thank you for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you on Sunday. Sunday.